everybody. Stephanie Miller Show. Happy Friday. Hello. Welcome to Mama's Boys Club. The Boys Club. Only boys in the fort this morning. It's going to be a good morning. You know why?
Why?
Because apparently Julie Chen did the Ice Bucket Challenge on air.
Last night on Big Brother.
May Lee, journalist May Lee, who will join us in hour number 3. First of all, she's hyper-competitive, and we told her that Jackie wore saran wrap yesterday, so she's already showing up naked.
Yeah.
And she's very competitive with Julie Chen, so I think we're going to have a naked ice bucket. It would be like a wet T-shirt.
But right there.
Right, but she's going to be naked, so I'm
sure.
just saying, I would tune in hour number 3. John Fugel's saying in hour 2, he's on the phone. Otherwise, I know, ladies. I know. Right? We would totally like to see that. All right. Welcome to the Boys Club. Hi, everybody. Oh, because you know I do my boy bike rides.
Yes, you do.
So Craig and I, my boy bike ride boyfriend, we went riding yesterday, and sometimes Nathan, our videographer, goes with us.
Yes.
It's a boy taunt I'd never heard of. So Nathan's having a tweaky back or something.
Whatever.
And Craig goes, "Oh, what, does your vagina hurt?"
You've never heard that?
No. And apparently there are alternates. Whoa, is your tampon itchy?
I've never heard that. I've never heard the tampon one, but I've heard, oh, does your vagina hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say it to Chris all the time.
That is awesome.
I say it to Travis all the time.
I love boys. Okay.
So much so that you made out with one in the car once.
Listen.
Once? More than once, I'm sure.
You dry humped
Here's
one
my
on your
other-
dad's couch.
That's a while ago. Okay. This is my favorite boy taunt from Nathan. One time we were on a ride. Remember? He goes, "There's horses around the same road sometimes, so there was a giant pile of horse poop." He goes, "I dare you to ride through that." I'm not riding through a pile of horse. Why would I do that? Because it's a boy thing, right? It's like, oh, that'd be cool. I'm like, no.
It's a boy thing.
I grew up in the country. Yeah, that's a. Yeah.
And then he said, "What, does your vagina hurt?" Like, yes.
Yes, I've been sitting on this bike seat.
I've been on this bike for an hour. All right. So you are here, Travis Bone, exhibitionist, noted exhibitionist and brony.
Here.
Because we've had this ongoing. We talked about it with Jackie Schechter yesterday. And it has erupted online. This sort of like anti ice bucket challenge thing. Because you were saying, and what's his name, the race car driver, Corey Hart. He said the same thing. He just did a rant yesterday because he's like, it's kind of
Pink's
creepy.
husband?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that Corey Hart.
Is he a race car
He
driver?
said
He's a BMX bicyclist.
Yeah, something.
You could go on bike rides with him to get to paint. Yes.
Look at how
This is our in for booking pink.
Get to paint.
And you know what, Corey Hart? If you don't want to go bike riding with me, maybe your vagina hurts. Okay. He said it's... I'm using that all the time now.
Oh, boy.
Craig goes, "Oh, I apologize. I usually don't. You say that in front of women." I'm like, I love that taunt.
Stephanie's picked up a new term. We're going to hear it for the next
couple of years.
She probably thinks bike cracky when Art says there's something new and
Right.
that the kids are saying.
Gosh. See, here's where Travis Bone thinks he's funny, because remember I made a joke about that because I'm friends with some celebrities' moms.
Sure.
So I said I'm going hiking with Lillian Gish's mom.
Yeah.
Or no. Oh, I said Jessica Tandy.
Jessica
and
Tandy's
you said,
mom.
"Oh, did she write her number in your high school yearbook?"
Keep in touch. See you next summer.
God knows what's going on with your vagina. But anyway, Corey Hart said, "It's extremely creepy and annoying how obsessed people are with this ice bucket challenge. The purpose is to raise money for an awful disease. If you're that into seeing people dump buckets of ice water over their heads, go find a wet T-shirt contest. Try to find a hobby, people." Your initial thing is like, what's creepy about it is like, oh, you do it so you don't have to give money to
Yeah, that's not true.
Well, no, you give
is
less
not
money.
true.
You do it so you give less money.
Right.
But you nominate 2 other people, so the total ends up being more, and the idea is that they nominate 2 people, so that the domino effect of 3 people donating $35
I understand.
is better than one
So
person
you
being
did it.
dead-end and donating
You did
$100.
it, exhibitionist. It sent everyone's hearts aflutter.
That was even less than
Did we tweet it out?
Travis did. Travis's Twitter account is at the real T-Bone.
I think it's just an excuse for people with really good bodies to make the rest of us feel bad. Look at him. Look at you. Look at you, you male whore. Look at you.
First of all, that water was cold. There was ice in there, and if you watch the video, you can see the ice in that bucket. Second of all, I'm covering the man bits because it was cold.
Significant shrinking.
Those aren't underwear. Those are panties.
Those are underwear.
They're panties.
Those are not panties. They are
Just saying,
they are
as an
diesel
exhibitionist,
underwear.
look at me quality to it. So he challenged both of us, to which we said.
She says no.
And there's a,
And first of all, I don't talk on the air about, I give to this
Yeah.
and I gave to this.
there's a bullying and shaming aspect.
Yeah.
That's the big part
I don't
that
talk
I don't
about
like.
oh, look at me, look what I did, look what I gave to.
Right.
It's like I try to give. Well, for as privately as I can do anything that
yeah.
usually is on camera and on a microphone.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to scream about,
Yeah.
You scream about enough on the radio all day.
I don't like to scream about, my charitable giving or any volunteering that I do.
A lot of people, though, would like to see you without a shirt. I'm just saying.
Me?
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe there's a better cause, Chris. Maybe
Stephanie Miller
would be a cause that you could take your shirt off for.
Maybe if you give $1,000 to Free Speech TV.
If you go, or go to the donate button on StephanieMiller.com. Hello.
If you raise enough money, Chris will do an ice bucket challenge for the show.
Okay. Pamela Anderson also against it. In her case, it's because of animal research. She's a big animal rights person, and
also
because they do some of the research.
A lot of church groups are against it now because ALS, I guess, uses stem cell research.
That I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
'cause
get
we
over
might
it.
accidentally help some other people
Yeah.
with stem cell research too. Whatever. Oh God. And plus, I'm sorry, I don't mean to get into an anti-religion thing. It's just it's this thing about, this is what I believe. It's like, well, science, we've talked about this a million times. These embryos would be destroyed anyway. They're not, you are not, anyway. They're saying, we believe it's abortion. Well, it's not abortion. Stem cell research. All right, now you've got me off on another tangent.
Oh, no, Chris got into it last night with some fundamentalists over the Ebola cure.
The Ebola, the Dr. Brantley, the Ebola patient.
By the way, did Donald Trump send a nice fruit basket on their release from the hospital?
Probably
Yes,
not.
America thanks you for your service, and here's how we say thank you back. Didn't he say we shouldn't have let them back in? Just let them die over there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
No, Dr. Brantley, the first thing he did, when he stepped to the microphone was thank God for his recovery. I'm like, well, I think the doctors.
I heard that too. No, but God bless him. He believes in both.
That's awesome. But
he believes in both.
But I think the doctors and pilots and researchers had a lot more to do with it.
I heard that too. It's just if you isolate, I thank God for this. I was like, well.
Yeah. He thanked the other people too. But at first he thanked God. And I'm like, if I were one of those researchers that worked so effing hard on that serum, I'd be a little,
Yeah. No, I respect his.
In his defense, God did thaw that out at room temperature, so it was okay for them to use.
Yes, you're right.
You know what?
The heat in Africa.
Mr. Underpants. Listen, Captain Underpants. This is so weird. It's like seeing your little brother. I was like, all right. And then I have to read all the smutty things people say about him. I'm like,
I just posted it on your Facebook page, the video. So.
right.
Yeah. So if people want to see Travis in his underwear, go to Stephanie Miller Show Facebook page.
Yes.
And my friend's underground pool.
And as we said, the silver lining is a naked Mayley. I'm sure out of pure competition with Julie Chen, we'll do the naked ice bucket challenge.
That
now
would be amazing.
Am I promoting something that may not happen? You know what I realized?
Stay tuned, find out.
You know what I realized I did yesterday?
What?
Jackie Schechner said, right before break, she said, I've been tear gassed. It's not pleasant. And I said, I bet we'd all love to hear the story about that. And then what happened? I came back after the break and I forgot.
Yeah.
I got hit with a tear gas in San Diego a few years ago.
I will text her and ask because I don't know in what circumstance she was tear gassed, and I teased it, and then I did not deliver at all.
Travis was hit with tear gas.
Yeah, down in San Diego.
Really?
There was
at Comic-Con?
No, it was actually this is very, very frustrating. During the Gay Pride years ago, somebody threw tear gas at the P-Flag contingent, which is the parents and families.
That's nice.
That's of all the people you can throw it at, it was
what Jesus
the parents
would do.
and families.
Yeah.
And it went down the block, and we all got hit with it. It was that stuff's rough.
So I will find out, and a day late, and several dollars short, I will tell you why Jackie Schechner was tear gassed. But this is the kind of headline that makes me agree with you, Chris, on this ice bucket challenge. Look at that. Does that say everything you need to know? Lawmakers who cut funds for ALS research take ice bucket challenge for ALS research.
Yeah. Now, their argument is that the government shouldn't be funding this; it should be privately funded.
Blah, 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 blah. But look at me. Look at what a good guy I am. Guess who did it? Michael Grimm, the bully.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Who threatened to throw the reporter over the railing and break him in half.
I bet they had a line of
like
people.
Like a boy.
There were probably a line of people who wanted to dump ice on his head.
And Paul Ryan, who probably just wanted to show off his dreamy P90X abs.
Oh, now Chris is going to go off. Hulk angry. Hulk angry.
Have abs.
Yes, like, for instance, what do you call it? What's her name? See, I've forgotten almost. Lindsay Lohan, that's it. So she did the Ice Bucket Challenge. She appears at a club in Manhattan, demands to do the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. This is what happens. It's just celebrities.
Right. They jump on a bandwagon.
Right. The usual look at me celebrities. Mm-hmm. So this is hilarious, though. She demands they do it in the middle of the venue. So she does do it. She drenches herself with ice water. Apparently nobody appears to focus enough to catch it on video for the ensuing social media blitz. So, in this day and age of social media, it didn't happen. If it didn't happen on camera, Instagram, Twitter, it didn't happen. It is a social media version of a tree falling in a forest.
That's right.
It didn't happen.
A couple of my friends did a great video yesterday where they pointed out that there are over 1 million Ice Bucket videos that have been posted with the hashtag and all that stuff, but there have only been 490,000 donations made. Yeah. So there are a lot of people who are doing videos without donating.
Majority of people aren't donating.
I'm just saying there is a contingent of look at me, what a good person I am, and
I made sure my donation was done, and they allow you to tweet that you've done a donation through the ALS website, so I have proof that I did the donation before I posted the video.
Max, come here. I just heard that a local radio producer did the Ice Bucket Challenge with her dog. Do not pour ice water on your dog. That's horrible, right, Max?
It's hot outside. You'd probably
that would be
enjoy
a big bucket.
Your dogs are polar bears. They would enjoy that.
I know. It's a natural habitat.
That is animal cruelty. Stop it, people. All right. And here's the other one.
Which local producer was it?
I'll tell you in a minute. Somebody we know.
Okay. I think I know.
There's only 4.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all that's left in radio.
Exactly.
That's why he takes my abuse, because I'm like, do you think there's another opening on the other 3 radio shows left on the air?
He's got to wait for someone to die off before he can get a new job somewhere else.
He's got to kill somebody.
Yeah.
In an Ice Bucket Challenge gone awry. Anyway, using it for revenge, Gwyneth Paltrow calls on ex Chris Martin for the Ice Bucket Challenge. Think that has anything to do with the fact that he's dating Jennifer Lawrence now?
J-Law.
Why'd you pour a bucket of ice water on your stupid man bits?
I think he won in that deal.
Huh?
I think he did win.
I think he won in that deal.
Jennifer Lawrence, awesome.
Oh, my God.
So adorable.
I'd switch for that.
No, he wouldn't. All right.
The consensus on Facebook is they love your man panties.
Man panties, yes or no? Call now. 1-800-STEP-12.
They are blue diesel underwear.
Man panties himself.
Neon blue diesel underwear.
They're man panties.
Captain Underpants himself will answer the phone.
You're welcome.
Right. 19 minutes after the hour. Thank you, Travis.
Thank you.
Right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 24 minutes after the hour. 1-800-STEP-12. The phone number toll free from anywhere. Oh, thank God. Comedy is back. After all the horrible, because there really has been nothing funny in the news at all.
You're right.
Yeah, my friends, I saw a couple of my really good friends yesterday, like, how's the show going? What's going on in the news? I'm like, beheadings, Ebola, suicide of beloved celebrities. Nothing but comedy.
Yeah.
Nothing but comedy. I'm just saying, cue the Heavenly Choir. V. Stiviano is back. Donald Sterling's mistress in the Visor.
Yes.
She says Donald Sterling is gay, and she was his beard mistress.
Beard mistress?
Oh, my God.
It's a new thing. I don't know if we only have these in L.A., but she was his beard mistress.
All right.
She just... Please, cue the Heavenly Comedy Choir. Thank you, God, for one sliver. V. Stiviano just filed new legal documents.
Either you're a beard or you're a mistress. I don't think you can be both.
She's a beard mistress. She's his beard and his mistress.
So
it's like
she's a beard that sleeps with him?
Models/actresses. She's a beard/mistress.
But being a beard implies you're not sleeping with them. You're just appearing to.
Right.
So,
well, okay. She's pretending to be his mistress.
That's a beard.
All right, listen, you know what? I do not sense that she is a
deep thinker.
A deep thinker, nor an English language.
I see. Okay. Expert.
Like, say, Sarah Palin.
Right.
She just filed new legal documents in her countersuit against Donald Sterling's wife, claiming that Sterling's actually gay. And who wouldn't want to tap that?
Tap that,
male
or
female.
God.
and paid her to pretend to be his mistress, according to TMZ. Stiviano, who was defending herself against claims she took unauthorized gifts from Sterling as his beard mistress. And what do you get for a beard mistress? For instance, which bouquet at ProFlowers would that be? Could I have the beard mistress bouquet, please? Thank you for being my beard mistress.
And if I type Stephanie in the box, do I get a free glass vase?
Yes. Do I get a free visor? Okay. Appeared to be putting forth the argument that the expensive cars and property were actually given as consideration for her fake mistress services. I'm just telling you, there's like a whole agency opening up right now as we speak in L.A. as I'm reading this story. According to her filings, a lot of famous people, whatever, need the beards.
Sure.
Just saying. Yeah. Or beard mistresses.
I'm sure there's a whole cottage industry.
Right? Springing up as we speak. According to filings,
hey, maybe I could become a beard mistress.
They don't mean an actual beard like yours. Okay. According to her filings, Sterling's wife is, quote, acutely aware of Donald's sexual orientation. See, when he yelled, "Get away from me, you pig," in court, see? He meant because of the icky girl parts.
Right.
And condone...
Her vagina hurt.
Right. Or his, apparently.
His vagina hurt,
all right.
Yeah.
And condoned same, as well as acknowledged and approved Donald's gifts of money to Stiviano, according to TMZ. All right, that's too much fun. We got to call Carlos Alzraki so he can do a whole Donald Sterling response to that. What? I don't. Okay. Maybe I've slept with men, not black men, though. Okay. Have we thought about sending him to Ferguson to help with the racial healing? No?
No.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we were talking about the Ice Bucket Challenge for the...
by the way, Travis's video seems to be a hit.
Yes, very popular.
But now that opens him up to the criticism. Someone posted mean things about him.
Aw. I hope he's not out there with his vagina hurting.
I'm sure his vagina's hurting now.
All right, let's stop it with that. It's a boy insult that I just learned about yesterday, and I will overuse it today. So Pamela Anderson, I think, and again, I'm guessing a lot of people just want to see her probably...
in a wet T-shirt contest.
Right, yes. Right, with ice water, which also has the added benefit of making you...
perky.
Cold, if you get what I'm saying.
Perky.
Right. Your high beams would be out
sure.
if it were at night. Yes. Okay. She said, sorry, I can't bring myself to do your Ice Bucket Challenge. I enjoy a good dare. It's always good to bring awareness in fun, creative ways. I don't want to take away from that. I thought instead I'd challenge ALS to stop animal testing, which is her issue. Mm-hmm. And then she went on to get graphic. She said recent experiments funded by the ALS Association, mice and had holes drilled into their skulls, were inflicted with crippling illnesses, were forced to run an inclined treadmill until they collapsed from exhaustion. Monkeys had chemicals injected into their brains and backs and were later killed and dissected. Trying to cure human diseases by relying on outdated, ineffective animal experiments isn't only cruel, it's a grave disservice to people who desperately need cures. And that's another whole controversial area.
Sure.
Anyway, 29 minutes after the hour, right back on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it, 34 minutes after the hour. Uh-oh.
What?
Travis's Ice Bucket Challenge just turned someone who was leaning hetero to curious.
Yeah, strongly hetero.
Oh.
Leaning strongly hetero to curious.
Yes, and he said maybe a cold shower. Oh, wait a minute. That's what started all this.
Yes.
Trouble in the first place. All right, here it is. The
Wheel of Right-Wing Hypocrites.
That's what I said. Says it all. The headline: Lawmakers who cut funds for ALS research take us Ice Bucket Challenge for
ALS
research.
Yes.
Some of the very lawmakers who have taken the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise awareness and money for ALS research voted for legislation to defund ALS research. This was, you know what this was? The sequestration, of course, because of. I'm sorry, but Republican asshattery. Remember, this was back several crises ago when they were talking about defaulting on the full faith and credit of the United States, and so, and this was something that was never supposed to happen. This stupid sequestration. So many of them reluctantly cast the vote. Others are fine, as you said, with ALS research, as long as the funding comes from private sources and not federal taxes,
which is consistent with their ideology. So that's right. That's understandable.
I love this line, but the contradiction does expose the curious ways in which government officials often end up dealing with problems they created.
Yes.
It was caused by, the bill, whatever the bill was named, it was to save the U.S. from defaulting via sequestration. And, again, some of the usual suspects, Paul Ryan, that bully guy, Michael Grimm.
Yeah, from New York.
Yes. Corey Hart, who I was saying, the BMX, the biker, Pink's husband.
Yes.
He said, I went the contribution route. I figure ALS would rather have my money than see me wet. I'll put the water towards washing my bike later. Oh, not if you live in California, you won't, mister, because of the drought. But anyway, he was making the point that you were making. Wait, what was I saying? Are
you okay?
No, I'm fine. Why? What happened?
I don't know. You seemed to, gone blank for a second.
I did. There was something else I was going to fill in there. Hang on, I got to go dumpster dive for a minute. Everybody talk amongst themselves.
Oh, dear.
Oh!
What?
Charlie Sheen did a really good thing, I thought. And that's got to be, a
hard for him to do.
Right? He did the Ice Bucket Challenge, but with buckets of money. He said, I'm going to say I think they'd rather have all his money.
Okay. Well, fine. That's good. So still, look at me. Look how much I'm donating.
By the way, oh dear, this is back to dark news.
Yeah, we don't need to get Alanis Morissette on the phone.
No. The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge co-founder drowned. He is Corey Griffin, 27. No, this is very sad.
It is sad.
Yes, he's a philanthropist who was instrumental in
in getting this thing started. Yeah.
He died after drowning in a diving accident off the coast of Nantucket, Massachusetts. Hey, God. All right. I
don't think there could be a more ironic story, though.
No, except that the guy that invented the Segway died when he drove.
Yes.
A Segway off a cliff.
When I clicked on that ALS founder drowning story, it suggested other stories I might like, and the Segway story was one of them.
He was it was doing a test.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that test didn't go well.
No.
On that particular Segway.
A cliff.
Okay. You often like to talk about my dusty lady parts.
Sure. Well.
And what all might be in there. Carlos has speculated on what all might be behind the barroom doors and the tumbleweeds.
And an aging prostitute, in a red fringe dress.
No, there is dirty French whore. Oh, dear. Gawker brings us the story. Doctors find 38-year-old baby skeleton inside woman's body.
Oh, God! Oh, wait a minute. Was it the size of a 38-year-old, or was it...
No.
Okay.
No, it was just... It was just 38 years old.
Okay.
Gawker says, see, this is, what, I hope Jim is not listening right now, because you remember when he's the show hypochondriac, when he thought he had an ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah, he didn't come in.
I sincerely hope we do not find out on Monday when Jim Ward is in that he has a 38-year-old baby skeleton inside him. Gawker says, how are you feeling right now? Do you have a little stomach ache? In that case, you may want to get yourself to a doctor because you could have a 38-year-old baby skeleton camping out in your abdomen. 62-year-old woman did. She's from central India. She had an ectopic pregnancy when she was 24. Apparently, she got scared at the prospect of surgery, so she went away to her village without undergoing the operation. She went to the doctor complaining of stomach pain recently, and that's what they
found.
The description is probably, I would assume, give you a tummy ache, so I will not give you the details. It's people may be eating breakfast, but that happened. All right. Dave in Minneapolis, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hello, Dave.
Good morning, Mama.
How are you, baby?
Well, I'm pretty good.
By the way, thank you for the cheese curds. Finally got them yesterday.
Oh, did you? Well, yeah, Travis is kind of, selfish at times.
He was hoarding. He was absolutely cheese curd hoarding.
Listen, we'll talk about the chocolate issue, Stephanie,
okay.
and your hoarding, okay?
Right.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
All right, anyway, two things. First of all, those are not man panties. Those are, as a friend of mine would say, a poor excuse for a marble bag. But the other thing, this business about the not funding things that should come from private research, this just absolutely baffles me. How is it that the government leadership shouldn't be concerned about the welfare of its citizenry? And this is a horrible disease. I mean, if you've ever seen anybody go through it, it is absolutely unbelievable. There are people that have gone for assisted suicide because they just can't stand to live with this anymore, and their families understand it. And so what I'd like to know too is how many other illnesses, diseases, conditions, whatever, have been funded by the government and have resulted in very positive outcomes and finding something that cured it. And why all of a sudden now that's just out of step with how we do things. That's ridiculous. And if it were...
Well, I mean, it's part of their philosophy. They want to privatize everything, and that's the other thing. I mean, look at it, even, David, I was just thinking the Ferguson, Missouri issue where, they're going, oh, look at Eric Holder, and oh, the big government has to come in and take over everything. Well, because the local people have screwed it up to the point where there's rioting and having to close the airspace above Missouri because they've bungled it so badly,
Right. Yeah. It's, which is another topic entirely. My daughter and son-in-law are both in law enforcement, and boy, that's been an interesting conversation lately to have about with them.
Yeah. What do they say?
Well, basically they say that we have to wait, and do. And my daughter is repeatedly addressed with the thing, the only reason you're arresting me is because I'm black. And Karen is so frustrated with this because she's going, no, it's not because you're black. I mean, their wedding, I teasingly said to my son-in-law, it looked like a meeting of the WCPT. All of his friends, for the most part, because of the police force work, are black. Right. But she says, it's not because of that. It's because you did something wrong that I did this. But at the same time, when you look at the lopsidedness of that situation in Missouri, you can't help.
Well, you understand, suspicion, and I've said this yesterday. I mean, again, I have friends that are cops or ex-cops. I think you're absolutely right. It's like in any other profession. There are really good cops, and I'm sure there are really bad cops. And I agree with you that we don't know what happened exactly in this whole altercation, but it's the way they handled it, from not interviewing the witnesses to not releasing his name. Right. That of course creates more suspicion.
Well, right. They've invited all the trouble on themselves, frankly. I mean, they panicked. They knew as soon as this had gone as far as it had gone, they absolutely went, into a panic state and hyper-reactive without thinking carefully. And, so here we are now. It just created more confusion and more angst rather than just trying to deal with it fairly. So, but it's caused some heated conversations in my family. And
I bet.
I'm going to blame you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fine. Do it.
Love you.
Yeah. Love you too. Okay. Bye. All right. Fine. I'll take the blame.
No.
By the by, Captain Ron Johnson, Missouri Highway Patrol, yesterday.
Each night I've seen small steps. And sometimes those small steps are hard to see, but I know small steps turn into big steps. And so we've been taking small steps every night.
And it looks like, again, there was not a lot going on last night. So.
Well, and you said, I think that it really did help that Eric Holder went, as much as they scream about, the big federal government again. It's like, well, this is the problem. It's like, do the citizens there have faith in the local authorities at this point? No.
They don't.
And with good reason. And again, that's not to prejudge exactly what happened, but the way they've handled it has been horrendous. So he pledged a thorough investigation into the shooting death of Michael Brown. He said the national outcry we've seen speaks to a sense of mistrust and mutual suspicion that can take hold in the relationship between law enforcement and certain communities. I wanted the people of Ferguson to know I personally understand that mistrust. I want them to know while so much else may be uncertain, this Attorney General and this Department of Justice stands with the people of Ferguson. The people of Ferguson can have confidence in the federal agents, investigators, and prosecutors who are leading this process. Our investigation will be fair, it will be thorough, and it will be independent. And again, I don't care how much of a small government person you are, really. Do you think they should just do nothing and let rioting and whatever continue? I mean, clearly, this is a situation where obviously they want somebody, at least an investigation that seems fair. That's what happens. I think in a lot of these cases, particularly you start with Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman wasn't even arrested.
Right.
So he wasn't. That's the whole. That nothing. I mean, there was no statement. They wouldn't release the cop's name. They wouldn't interview witnesses. And in this day and age, a lot of this stuff is on tape with these people and witnesses and the aftermath.
Yeah.
And, anyway, so. Good for Eric Holder.
And also law enforcement seems a little lopsided.
And also, he, like President Obama, was able to talk about it personally. He talked about getting pulled over when he was younger. And, you know, so it's just, they do understand it on a level that'll, you know, perhaps a previous president, attorney general would have not. So, anyway, good for them.
Yep.
All right, 45 minutes after the hour, we roll along on the Stephanie Miller Show. Yes, it is the Stephanie Miller Show. Don Fugelsang coming up at the top of the hour. Fridays with Fugelsang, next hour. Journalist Maylene, naked, doing the Ice Bucket Challenge in hour 3.
Oh, boy. I think you're overselling that.
Listen, she's a professional. I promoted it. She knows she has to do it now. All right.
You always have to follow through with a tease. That's broadcasting 101.
Whoever posted that wins the internets today.
What?
It is George W. Bush being Ice Bucket challenged by Laura.
Yeah.
And it says that awkward moment when you realize you've just reminded everyone of your career waterboarding people.
That was comedian Lee Camp that actually put that together.
Thank you, Lee.
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Chris in New York, you're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Chris.
Hey, good morning, Sexy.
Good morning. Hello.
I just called to point out the irony that these people who claim that the big federal government is coming down to Ferguson, they claim to be constitutionalists, but they're neither constitutionalists nor small government advocates, because one of the fundamental points of the Constitution is equality under the law. And clearly we have a disproportionate enforcement and a disproportionate use of force, and there is an equality under the law.
Right.
What they really want is to use these things to be able to justify, local governments being able to be racist, being able to be inequitable in their distribution of justice, and they want the federal government out of the way. So I just wanted to point that out. That they're not small government advocates, and they're not constitutionalists.
That's
they're
right.
just racist.
That's right. Thank you, honey. Well said. Smartest point in class. Okay. Yep. By the way, you were saying it looks like things are, let's hope, going better in Ferguson. Jay Nixon, the governor, has ordered the state's National Guard to begin withdrawal. Hopefully tensions are easing, and again, I think what goes to what our last caller just said. I think the fact that Eric Holder went there and, they feel like at least there has been an actual impartial investigation being done has helped.
Yep.
Oh, we needed a poll.
And that's all they wanted since the beginning.
We needed a poll for this, by the way. Black Americans much less likely than whites to trust the police won't use excessive force. Thoughtful chin scratch. What could that be about? Black Americans more likely than white Americans to express distrust in their local police departments, especially when it comes to the use of excessive force. A new poll finds 60% of white residents said they had a great deal or a fair amount of confidence that police won't use excessive force. Only 44% of black respondents said the same. Well, it's from the Department of No. Sherlock. Thank you very much. Yeah. By the way, you and I have talked about our interactions with the police.
Yes.
There were things in our thought bubble that we did not say.
Absolutely not.
So, as we've said, don't intentionally be a jerk to a police officer.
Right.
But you have to say we're also aware that because we're white, I absolutely that's in your head. Particularly for me as a white woman, I don't assume I'm going to be mistreated by the police because there's, and so many black people have a lifetime of experience. Friends of mine have said, absolutely, I've been pulled over for driving while black countless times.
Yes.
I had one friend. Every time, because he'd drive through Beverly Hills, and they'd be like, what are you doing in this nice car in Beverly Hills? It's like, well, I live here, and I own this car.
I remember I was, years and years and years ago, MTV had this show called Road Rules, where they put a bunch of people, it was like the real world, but they put a bunch of people in an RV and traveled around. And one of the people was black. Yeah. And he was the only one who was pulled over for a speeding ticket. He said, oh, yeah, that happens all the time. It's driving while black. That was my first introduction to that happening. Like, really? That happens?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, both times. My cell phone ticket and my no seatbelt ticket. I could not have been more polite, Catholic. Thank you, officer. Nicely done, sir.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yes, speaking of which, and it's stories like this that we've all heard about. Let's play compare and contrast. Ethan Couch.
Mm-hmm.
Did you remember? I don't even remember which white kid this is, which white teenager. No justice for Holly Boyles and Shelby Boyles, killed by a teen who wasn't black. Ethan Couch. He was witnessed on surveillance video stealing 2 cases of beer from a Walmart, driving with 7 passengers in his father's pickup, speeding up to 70 miles an hour. 3 hours after, in a 40-mile-per-hour zone, 3 hours after the incident, he had a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit and tested positive for Valium. An hour after the beer theft, he was driving the truck, blah, 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 hit a typical, obviously, hit a sport utility vehicle that had this woman and her daughter in it who lived nearby. They come out to help her. Had a passing youth minister. The Couch's truck, swerved off the road and into Mitchell's car, plowed into Jennings' parked car, which in turn hit an oncoming Volkswagen Beetle. The truck flipped, hit a tree. Mitchell, Jennings, and both Holly and Shelby Boyles were killed. So teen steals beer, gets hopped up on Valium, goes out and kills 4 people. He got probation. Probation for that. For possibly, allegedly, stealing cigars and walking in the middle of the street. Michael Brown is dead. And unfortunately...
An execution without a trial.
Yeah, unfortunately that story has played out in a lot of cases around the country. Patricia in California on the very same subject. Hey, Patricia.
Hi, good morning
Hi.
to both of you.
What's that?
Hi. I said good morning to both of you.
Oh, good morning. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying with the Michael Brown situation, there was no cause to shoot him at all, and people need to realize that. You guys are white, and then you just mentioned a few things, so you have no way to know what a black person has to go through every day in this country. And a lot of white people feel that they're privileged, that this is their country. And the Tea Party group, they said they're the right to bear arms. Where are they now? So, we need to really look at this wholeheartedly and say we have a problem in this country. That kid was killed, regardless of where he where he shoplifted a cigar, whether he was walking down, said a few words to the officer, and the officer cursed at him. Why do you have to talk to the young man like that?
Yeah.
You say, you guys get off the street.
Well, and that's part of the lesson is maybe a little more mutual, on both sides of people trying to just be a little nicer to each other in the world might make things, not escalate and end differently. But, I still say, Patricia, I think part of this problem is, and it happened in the Trayvon Martin case, is you go, really? You walk into a police officer and go, here's my story. Oh, okay, you can go now? Because there's a presumption that a dead black teenager doesn't matter or must have been at fault. I mean, it's just.
And that's what I mentioned too. I think that was Chris that I spoke to. And that's what I mentioned. Trayvon Martin case. Where was his right? Where was his right to bear arms or to protect himself? Whatever the law is there, it doesn't make any kind of sense.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you, Patricia. Let's go to Bill in Albany. Hey, Bill, welcome.
Hey, Steph. Great to hear you guys every morning. You make my day.
Thank you.
Now, the St. Louis Rams have really stepped up once again, not only just drafting Michael Sam, who's playing pretty well, has a chance to make it, might not. He's got some competition with another guy that wasn't drafted.
Okay.
So they're pretty close, but he's been playing real good.
Okay.
The Rams invited all the players and coaches from the 3 area football teams in Ferguson to go to their game last week. And they invited them all out because their school's closed to practice at their facility.
Oh, that is so cool.
That's awesome. All right, you know what else is cool?
What?
Fridays with People saying next on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show, welcome to it. 6 minutes after the hour, 1-800-STEP-12, the phone number toll free from anywhere. All right. Wait, can I have love music, please? All right, everybody, just so you can, because we need something to counteract the bad news, and so people have sent me a fart stack.
Okay, fart stack?
Well, combined with future wife stack.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, got this story, everybody. You can stop sending it. Myrtle Beach man and woman were arrested after they came to blows in a fight sparked when the man allegedly passed gas near the woman's face.
What?
Okay, let's see. The problems began when a man who routinely sleeps on the porch of the house came inside while intoxicated and passed gas.
Why does he sleep on the porch?
Listen, that's not the important part of this story. Guy that sleeps on the porch came inside.
Okay.
Farted in the woman's face. While she was laying on the couch, the woman then walked outside to escape the situation. But the man followed her. Once outside, the woman told police while they were verbally arguing, the man walked toward her in a threatening manner, and she hit him 3 times in the face with a closed fist. They're both fine. Just stay and fart on the porch is the moral of that story.
Maybe that's why he slept on the porch all the time.
I was just going to say, did that not magically come full circle? Is that not an answer to your question? Why do you sleep on the porch? Because he farts a lot.
In her face. Aimed it to her face.
Wow. Okay. Booga, booga, booga. There's only one man
that can follow that.
That can lift us from this now.
The Fugelsang. Thank guys. The John Fugelsang.
Good morning, children from the New York Bureau.
Hello. Please, grab the wheel. Grab the wheel. Steer us out of the ditch, won't you?
Well, I just want to say that I think that we finally have a chance to get everyone of every political background, every color, every race, every religion, every nationality, every sexual orientation to come together and agree that August 2014 needs to die.
Yes.
This month needs to be over.
Oh, this has been awful.
Yeah, John.
All agree on this.
Yeah, every morning Chris puts together a soundbite list. You know, it's just not a good week when I have ISIS and Ebola are the two subjects of the.
Yeah, and you know, it's just incredible. I put on the news the other night, and the anchor was like, "You don't even want to know." And you know, it's although the Ebola doctor, that's a great story that they actually were able to cure. I think it's amazing that science and technology are so advanced that we can cure a first world white person of Ebola. I think that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing last night, and I was trying to figure out a way to articulate that. You just did it so well.
Well, that's what he does.
It's amazing that, like, with the deadly Ebola virus, that science has found a way to cure a first world white person of it. It's just these advances, and it's amazing times we live in. But imagine that poor guy. Imagine that doctor for the next year. Oh, wow, Kent, Dr. Brantley, you're all cured? That's man. Oh, I can't shake your hand, man. I just washed them. They're wet. You don't want to touch me. But it's great, man. Really good for you.
Well, that's why he made a point to hug the caregivers during the press conference.
Yeah, they were, and the other, Nancy Wrightball, they were both released from Emory Hospital, and they did, John, go out of their way to say this does not present a risk. They're like talking to you, Donald Trump, you bold.
Yeah.
That they do not present a risk. You know, but John, we were talking about this. I mean, the outbreak has become really dire. More than 1,300 dead. Medical centers overrun with patients. The World Health Organization said the number of known infections may vastly underestimate the magnitude of the outbreak. And, you know, we were saying over there it's the combination of not just disease, but poverty, fear, suspicion, you know, anti-science hysteria, right?
Well, it is incredible. And again, this is like most of the social problems in America are, you know, symptoms of poverty. And so is this. When you've got a virus that kills half the people who get it, it's got just over a 50% mortality rate. And it was Robert Kennedy who, allow me to paraphrase, who said that as long as there is abundance, you know, poverty is evil. And this is preventable. And you know, I joke about science being able to cure a first world white person, but this is going to be a real test for the human race if we're able to rid this man's system of Ebola and allow this suffering to continue in Africa. We have a lot to gain by the first world by making sure that this doesn't spread.
Interesting. We brought this up right out of the box, and if anyone should comment on it, you should. Chris was struck the same as I was by Dr. Brantley saying this. Take a look.
God saved my life. A direct answer to thousands and thousands of prayers. I am incredibly thankful to all of those who were involved in my care from the first day of my illness all the way up to today.
Interesting. Of course, you know, Chris sort of reacted to that, like, what do all the researchers think that, you know, when you say God saved my life, and I said, look, you know, he's entitled to that.
What do all the Africans think? What do all the dead Africans think? That God, well, we know whose side God is.
God chose the white guy.
Yeah.
God chose the first world white guy, and God seems to want all these deaths back at home. Look, I don't fault the doctor for feeling that way.
No, me neither. That's what I mean. I don't fault his belief. I just think it's sadly and ironically, as you refer to, it's part of this sort of, you know, this anti-science stuff that is spreading Ebola over there and causing people to, you know, let Ebola patients out and you know, take their bed sheets and all of that. I mean, it's yeah. Anyway, go ahead,
Well,
John.
yeah. I mean, I'll never forget being on the Bill Maher show once with Bishop John Shelby Spahn, who's retired Episcopal Bishop of the Diocese of Newark, New Jersey. He's written a ton of books. He's a really, really well-known Christian progressive theologian. He was on my current show quite a bit. And then this young guy who was from one of these young Christian, you know, organizations that you know, right wing, and he was talking about, you know, the bishop was talking about when his wife was dying and how he prayed, but his wife died anyway. And then the young guy said, yeah, well, I had a really bad knee injury, and I just prayed so hard, and my knee was miraculously healed. And Bill Maher and I were like, wait a second, so God liked your knee better than his wife? You know, it comes off as a kind of spiritual narcissism when it's well-intentioned. And the doctor can feel this way. He can thank God if he wants. But really, by making that statement, it made him look like a real spiritual narcissist, and it begs the question of, why does God allow you to live and allow all these Africans to die? That's not God. That's us.
And more importantly, well-known atheist Bill Maher took the month of August off, which is where comedy did go to die. So he must know something. We don't know.
Well, probably, but I'll tell you something. Well, Congress is on recess, so it's the right time for him to take a break.
Yeah.
You know, if this guy's faith is as strong as his talk is, then he needs to devote his celebrity to getting his cure into Africa right now. And I want to see him on the news by tonight demanding that Africans can be treated for Ebola the same way he was.
Yeah.
He can pay it forward now, big time.
Yeah. Dr. Brantley again yesterday.
Today is a miraculous day. I'm thrilled to be alive, to be well, and to be reunited with my family.
And one more time, Dr. Brantley yesterday.
I cannot thank you enough for your prayers and your support.
And yet, I mean, he's a perfect example, John, of someone that obviously believes in science and God, right? I mean, we've had this debate for a long time.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, it's really easy to believe in science and God. You just don't get to believe in Ayn Rand and Jesus. That's the conflict. In fact, I finally made the woman I live with has a very hard time because she lives with me, and I finally got her to watch.
You refer to your wife, the lovely Mrs. Fugelsang?
Yes. I finally, in addition to all the other punishments and torments I heap upon her by virtue of cohabitation, I got her to watch Darren Aronofsky's film Noah, which I love. I saw it by myself in the theater, and I'll tell you,
a lot of people I've talked to love it. Yeah,
it's a great, great film. Don't view it as a Bible film. View it as Darren Aronofsky, after he did The Wrestler and Black Swan and Requiem for a Dream, talked a studio into giving him a huge budget to make a crazy-ass Bible film.
Yeah.
But there's a passage in it where Russell Crowe tells the creation story, and it's done with a kind of animation style that completely fuses religion and faith and myth and science all together. And, it's completely possible to believe in both. And you can, science and religion are both supposed to be doing the same thing, right? Trying to understand creation. It's just science uses facts and religion uses faith. So, it's not that unlikely. But, if you're going to say God cured my Ebola, then you got to go start saying God caused the rest of the Ebola, and it gets kind of murky.
Yep. All I know is you are right about August. My friends yesterday were saying, what are you talking about on the show? I'm like, beheadings, Ebola, beloved celebrities committing suicide. Nothing but comedy, right?
Oh, God, it's awful. And then, what we're seeing now with ISIL and what we're seeing, with poor Mr. Foley, my hat's off to his family and to everybody who refused to watch that video. And it's just an ugly time, and I'd like to say that, our Republican friends weren't making it more ugly, but, seeing what's going on now and how they're trying to just, smear Obama even more, and the people who, I like when people who defended George Bush say the black guy takes too many vacations. That's my new favorite thing this summer.
No, and the other thing, John, I absolutely agree with you. It struck me, not that it's surprising, but it gets to the point where I can't even, read what John McCain's going to say. It's like, isn't there just one moment where you go, God, an American just, died a horrible... Can we have a moment as Americans to go, this is horrible, here's what maybe we should do. It's just, you have to couch everything in criticism about the president, or what he's doing wrong, or he's not doing it enough, or fast enough, or especially when he was shaking hands with these same terrorists a few months ago, saying they're the moderates in Syria.
I don't mind that when you're blaming the president for actual stuff he deserves to be blamed for. You can have a legitimate critique that Obama could have spoken out more forcefully about Ferguson, that he's playing it too safe for the midterms. I was on Ed's show last week, and I was the only Caucasian on a panel talking about Obama and race with a Ferguson. You want to criticize him on legitimate areas where you can debate it, great. But don't make up crazy reasons to criticize him. When people criticized Bush relentlessly, it was because his policies directly caused hundreds of thousands of deaths, including 44 brave troops who died for a lie.
Yeah.
And that's been proven. Rachel's documentary on why we did it just slams the door on that.
Yeah,
you
brilliant.
Want to criticize Obama for legitimate things, great. But you're looking at what's happening in Iraq right now, you get to blame one administration and one only. And it's the 100 million people, the liberals and real conservatives, who stood up and said, if you knock down Reagan's strongman thug out of Iraq, you're going to have religious sectarian civil war. And the guys that chopped off that guy's head are the same guys that Reagan armed 20 years ago.
I was just going to say, and also to hear people say, we don't negotiate with terrorists, these same people that are, worshipped Reagan, it's like, okay, well, trading arms for hostages was not negotiating it. And I want to talk to you, John, after we get back. James Foley's family, his siblings, went on TV and said they think the United States should change their policy about ransom, and I think it is a really tough issue. I totally understand, but anyway, we'll talk about all of that.
If we had a policy, Reagan proved that we'll trade weapons to get hostages.
Yeah, if anything weakened America's image, it's that. It's like, no, America's full on when they say they don't negotiate with terrorists, and that, Anyway, let's talk about all that. Fridays with Fugelsang rolls along 18 minutes after the hour. It's the Stephanie Miller Show. It is the Stephanie Miller Show hate mail rolling in as we roll along with Fridays with Fugelsang. Deborah writes, Steph, longtime listener, XM Radio, yay. You rarely disappoint, but today I cannot believe you went after someone because they thank God before doctors. I consider myself to be a liberal, but I believe in God and science. There's room for both in this world. You sounded as bad as the right wing who ignores science. Have some tolerance for those of us who believe in God. I believe, as John Fugelsang and I both said, totally respect Dr. I mean, first of all, Dr. Brantley, John, as we said, is a perfect example of someone that believes in God and science. But as you said, and Victor tweeted this too, John Fugelsang, exactly. If God healed the Ebola-infected doctor, is he then by default letting others die? And that's all we were saying, is that what does that mean then? God, or the prayers don't work for all the people in Africa that are dying?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he had said, I give thanks to God, but I also give thanks to science, and because we have the ability to heal me, we have the ability to heal others, and we have a responsibility to do it. And if he had made it more about, look, we can stop this, look at me, I think he'd be avoiding a lot of the criticism he had today. But he went suffering that's going on there and he didn't mean to imply it, but you should have enough game to know you're implying that God is signing off on all these deaths, that he's signing off on your life.
Well, and he went there on behalf of Samaritan's Purse, which, in addition to helping to heal the sick, they also proselytize and evangelize to people while they're doing it.
Sure, of course. And, that's something that, that wasn't, when my mom was in Africa as a nun, that wasn't the case. It was never like, that sort of quid pro quo. I mean, Jesus never healed his hand on a leper, but then said, but first, a word from our deity.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem with that quid pro quo.
Yeah, you lead by example, and don't go there and say, hey, I'll treat you if you convert. You go over there and say, hey, let me show you how my faith does it, and if people are impressed, maybe they'll want to know more about your faith. But you can only lead by example. You can't convert by coercion. It's creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to Ken in Pennsylvania. You're on the Stephanie Miller Show. Hi, Ken.
Yeah, Stephanie, how you doing? I'm listening to you guys. You're talking about your predictions about Iraq. Joe Biden said that this is going to be one of the greatest successes of the Obama administration.
What? What did he say? What did he say would be a great success, specifically? What did Joe Biden say?
Iraq.
What did he say about Iraq? What was going to be one of the great successes of the Obama administration?
I thought, it's the way it was stabilized. He said this would be a great success of the Obama administration. Now, let me ask you something. You say everybody predicted it was going to deteriorate into sectarian violence.
Not everybody did. No, not everybody did, but the people who did were liberals and conservatives, and they were right.
Okay. If Obama knew that, and you knew that, doesn't that make him doubly negligent for pulling those troops out of there?
Obama never said it, mister. What are you getting mad at me for? I'm not your enemy. Let me ask you a question. Who was the one who agreed on the withdrawal date? Who determined the withdrawal date, sir?
Let me ask you. Don't you think that would be doubly negligent for pulling
Who decided we were withdrawing on that date, sir? Was it Bush or Obama?
Answer that.
Yeah, he's not. He has no interest in having a discussion with you, John.
No, he just wants to hate.
Yeah.
Well, for those who are just tuning into reality,
I have Christian empathy for the people that call, the trolls that call while John Fugelsang's here.
Right.
But it's like, look, you don't have to be a fan of Obama. The facts are facts. Bush established the withdrawal date. Obama was president when it happened, and Obama offered to leave residual forces behind. The Iraqi parliament put into place, under the puppet that Bush put into place, said no.
Yes, because George Bush gave them that freedom, as you recall, the fiery freedom to be a sovereign.
That is the force
of freedom,
of human freedom. Freedom in all the world.
And as he helpfully explained, John, a sovereign nation means just that. It means they have sovereignty.
Exactly
in one of
right.
in one of his.
How can you give sovereignty to somebody? It's crazy, the notion that you can give away sovereignty.
Yeah.
And again, this was Bush's puppet president of Iraq. If you don't like Saddam Hussein, take down your Reagan love doll, because he's the one who propped him up for years, because he was the Mussolini, the thug, the non-religious kook Reagan could do business with, who made the trains run on time.
Yeah.
And as bad as Hussein was, he was contained, and women had more freedom in Iraq than they do today.
I do kind of miss George Bush's tendency to explain words by using the same word. That was always one of my favorite.
This is all happening because George Bush didn't understand Shiite.
Hi, ladies and flavins. Hello, John in Washington. You're on with John.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, what a privilege.
I know.
I've had discussions with friends where it's like, look, it comes down to body count with how high is the pile of bodies that Saddam would have created, because him and his sons were no picnic.
Yeah.
And how high is the body count now? And it's just, frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, but that's not why I called.
Well, why did you then?
Well, you were talking earlier as a approaching elderly gay man. I'm your age, Steffi.
Oh, my God.
Hello, good morning, Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, and I was somewhat... Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry. And I was somewhat closeted, and the thing is, I can identify with certain aspects of being black, because there's this thing when you're outside the law where you can't just pick up the phone and call the police because there's a domestic violence, right? Because everybody at the party is gay, and you don't want people to know. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to get kicked out of your... so it's like this fear, and you feel devalued. I don't matter. When those tanks roll by, those MRAPs, those guys got the laser pointers on your chest, you got to feel like, I don't matter.
Yeah, I hear you. John Fugelsang, Fridays with Fugelsang continues on the Stephanie Miller Show. Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number. 34 minutes after the hour. John Fugelsang, Fridays with Sexy Liberal John Fugelsang, continues. Oh, Mitt Romney did the Ice Bucket Challenge in a suit.
In a suit. And afterwards he said, "Aha, that is cold."
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Captain Obvious has struck again. Remember that? Look at those trees. Oh, look at mine. They're just the right height.
I'm glad Mitt Romney got rid of the electrocution risk by removing the bolts from his neck.
Did you say? God, I'm just so honestly. Can someone tell Mitt Romney and John McCain they lost by a lot? He was stumping for GOP candidates in West Virginia. Mitt Romney told the Washington Times, "I was not a big fan of the president's policies, as you know, either domestically or internationally, but the results of his mistakes and errors, in my opinion, have been more severe than even I would have predicted." I mean,
wow,
isn't it magical how much better everything would have been if we had elected Mitt or John McCain, right?
What a great way of saying absolutely nothing specific at all. Just a vague smear.
Yeah. And by the way, the Washington Times characterized the event as a Romney for President rally in everything but name.
Yeah, I bet he does run again. I bet he does.
Seriously?
He'll be the same age as Hillary Clinton. Yeah, they'll both be 69, and, Mitt will keep it interesting. Seeing him go up there and just, can you imagine if Mitt Romney's narcissism is so great that he decides he's going to Citizen United his way through the primary process and buy another nomination? It's one thing to pull that kind of big money garbage when you're going up against Gingrich and Santorum, but if Mitt Romney decides to spend his money running against Chris Christie, Rand Paul, and Ted Cruz, it's going to be slugfest.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was just going to mention the irony in the midst of that he took the Ice Bucket Challenge. Mm-hmm. His running mate, Paul Ryan, of course, was one of the Republicans that voted against ALS research and also did the Ice Bucket Challenge. Just saying.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, that was part of the sequestration cuts, that whole. Yeah. All right. Let's go to George in Fort Lauderdale. You're on with John. Hello, George.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Great to be on with Fugelsang, but I got one thing to say.
Uh-oh.
The day when that doctor came down with that disease, and he said there was only one serum, and he said give it to his partner instead of him.
Mm-hmm.
He committed the greatest love.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
Yeah, he did.
Absolutely.
That's why he survived. I just
because that is what Jesus would do. Correct.
I don't know if that's why he survived.
I believe it.
All right.
That's why he survived.
All right.
Well, but what about the people in Africa? Why don't they get to live?
Yeah.
Right. So you're assuming all of them are bad people that would not give the serum to someone else. That's what I mean. It's Carl in Nashville. You're on with John.
People in Africa, I imagine a huge amount of the people in Africa would gladly give the cure away to someone else to save someone else's life. Good deeds aren't limited to one religion.
Yep.
There you go. Carl in Nashville. Hi, Carl.
How dare you steal my time?
Sorry.
I could have been sitting there enjoying my blueberry pie, but you're going to steal my time. Listen,
don't lean too far forward. All right, go ahead.
Exactly. Listen, with all the ethnic cleansing going on in the suburbs of Baghdad, the suburbs of St. Louis this week, we kind of forgot about some happy clappy. Mr. Gregory is not hosting Meet the Republicans anymore. That kind of went by everybody this week. I noticed that Angela Mitchell was on there, and I thought that had to be a little odd. And then later on, I found out, he's finally gone. I mean, I guess having a Republican in there was just too much for the regular audience. So
but you know what? I don't know that Chuck Todd's going to be better. We'll see. I think it's part of just this mainstream media fear of being called liberal that I think they reflexively go too far to the right. But anyway,
they're going to win back younger viewers by putting Chuck Todd in there and just staying the same right leaning. They're kidding themselves.
What? I've heard your statement, sir, but in honor of Mr. Gregory, I'm not going to ask a follow-up question.
Hooray! That's why he's the people sending in one. It'd be hard to get in with the hipsters as much as Bob Schieffer, I would think, at this point, wouldn't it?
Hey, Bob Schieffer was fantastic. I watch Schieffer.
He does a great job. I must say, yeah.
He's got a pair on him, man. His commentaries, he's not afraid of being called liberal.
Yeah.
He calls him out, and he calls out the president too. I have a lot of respect. I like Bob Schieffer a lot when he was doing CBS Evening News too.
I'm gonna have to switch.
Well, he does the old timey commentaries, like news anchors used to do at the end, but it was labeled as commentary. Nowadays they just shuffle commentary throughout the entire show.
Throughout the questions. Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, John, we were talking about this horrible, James Foley thing. I was saying that his siblings were on TV saying, because, the United States and Britain, of course, are a couple of and I didn't even realize this, two of the only countries that will not obviously negotiate or pay ransom. A lot of other countries do. And so, but wow.
So do we. Don't ever forget what Reagan did to get those people out of Beirut in Lebanon.
Well, no, exactly. That's what I was saying, is if, you want to talk to John McCain about, what's weakened or what makes terrorists think they can do this or that, you got to look at our whole history. But they apparently demanded about $135 million. And another released Frenchman, he said that Foley had been treated worse than the other captives after militants searched his computer and discovered his brother was in the U.S. Air Force. And so the U.S. government has a firm policy of not paying ransom in kidnapping cases or encouraging third parties to do so, a policy that differs from many European governments. The British government, of course, similar to the U.S., but, John, there's tension on that front, too, because then they're saying all of these other countries are basically funding these terrorist groups. That's how they get most of their funding, is ransoms, right?
Yeah, of course. And, look at what's happening now in Brazil and parts of Latin America where taking children of wealthy family hostage for ransom has become a new subset of the economy. I mean, it's terrible, and it's not going to stop. And the only way to have these solutions is to have other countries hate us less.
Yeah.
That's it. The only way you stop young Middle Eastern, Muslim, right-wing, fundamentalist, conservative religious males from wanting to kill us is to make them not want to kill us. And that's going to be a change of policy.
A former, reading an ABC News piece, a former government official said they weren't, he didn't believe they appeared to actually be serious about freeing Foley. This was, I guess, a year later. Mm-hmm. The ransom demand didn't come until a year later, and he said we never took that amount seriously. He said they were never really sure who they were dealing with. It was impossible to say who was in control during the negotiation process. A former U.S. government official with direct knowledge of the American hostage cases confirmed the amount. It's tens of millions more than Al-Qaeda reported had received from all the kidnappings combined last year. And I can only imagine because it was an American. They were saying that normally for European hostages eventually released, the dollar amounts between $2 and $3 million apiece. So, and the former official said they weren't serious about negotiating for money. They knew their demands were unattainable. It just, but you can understand, John, if it's the family. Can you imagine if it's someone in your family? I mean, it's
absolutely. No, it's disgusting. And the fact is, these guys in ISIL want violence. They want more war. They're no different than bin Laden. This is no different than the intent behind 9/11. The question is, are we going to give them exactly what they want, or are we going to get creative in ways we didn't get 12 years ago? I think there's a lot of people, the majority of Americans, who support airstrikes against these guys, but they don't want troops on the ground. And there's a lot of people who want this apocalyptic war on both sides. At the end of the day, a core of this conflict is their right-wing fundamentalist religious a-holes against our right-wing religious fundamentalist a-holes. And I hope that we can find a way to let sanity prevail, because I know the majority of Muslims, Jews, and Christians don't want more killing.
Well, and as the president pointed out, no religion, no God calls for this, for what they're doing.
Nope.
I was reading in this story that a French journalist who was held alongside Foley for 7 months and suffered several mock executions before he was freed. I mean, what this has got to be like to have gone through this. He said Foley was optimistic about his chances of being freed, even though the United States, by policy, does not negotiate with terrorists. There are two kinds of countries in the world, he said, those like the U.S. and U.K. who do not negotiate, and those that do. And he said several European governments have been effectively bankrolling a number of terrorist organizations, paying high-dollar ransoms. Aside from state-sponsored terrorism, ransom payments are the greatest source of terrorist funding today. Yeah, and
that was an insane amount of money they were asking. Yeah. It was like 135 million. Yeah.
Americans and Brits have been freed through ransom payments in the past. However, that's usually done through the intervention of a private third party. This is heartbreaking. Speaking to the public earlier this week, Foley's parents said they were considering fundraising to pay ransom right up, until their son was killed. I mean, it's, John, and I was saying, we were talking about that last night. How as a parent do you ever unsee that? They watched the video, because the last thing he said was that he wished he had more time with his family. And I don't know how you recover emotionally from the whole thing. It's just horrific.
I don't know, and I imagine it's different for every person, and it's this unspeakable violence that the human race just can't shake. But I think we all have to respect his family's wishes and not watch the video.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't have to tell me not to watch the video. Yeah.
But I mean, I believe it was it his wife who tweeted out, "Please don't watch it." I mean, human beings' life should not be like this. And right now already, the British Secret Service is trying to find out who that murderer was. They believe he's a British subject, and they're, look, these guys have Facebook accounts. A lot of these guys who grew up in, and
this is what I was reading a story about this.
They talk about soccer, and their voices can be traced, and they will find out who this guy is.
Yeah.
And this will hurt ISIL more than anything, because these murderous fundamentalists are the ones destroying their own religion, and I'd like to see, the decent people of faith stand up and demand a new era of not killing people, because if God, Jehovah, Allah wanted somebody dead, he'd bloody smite them. He's not smiting anybody, so shut up and sit down.
Okay. 45 minutes after the hour. There's nothing like there's nothing like a Fugle Sangy and Tear. We will hear more on Fridays with Bugle Sang next on the Stephanie Miller Show. Stephanie Miller Show, 50 minutes after the hour. A naked Lee on her way in.
You're overselling that.
I'm just guessing. And she will hopefully do the Ice Bucket Challenge to outdo Julie Chen, who she's very competitive with. All right, so she will be in shortly. Fridays with Sexy Liberal John Fugelsang continues. Good morning, John. You are a delight, sir, clothed or unclothed.
Why, thank you. Most prefer me clothed, but I'll take what I can get.
No, I do not think so. I do not think so. All right, so Chuck Hagel, Defense Secretary, about ISIS.
They marry ideology, a sophistication of strategic and tactical military prowess. They are tremendously well funded. Oh, this is beyond anything that we've seen.
By the way, John,
I guess that means that ISIL is good, because the right wing and Fox News taught me to distrust Chuck Hagel.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was thinking that yesterday. There he is, like former Republican, but now because he's in the Obama administration, I'm sure nothing he says has value either. John, I was going to say, I never really got in soccer, but you're absolutely right. This may help us catch this guy, because this is sort of amazing in the age of social media, because that's what you were alluding to. There's an AP piece that is talking about a lot of these guys are young, and they have Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and they on which they post pictures of themselves and give away other clues to their origins, such as favorite soccer team. And Ella said just because they're Islamic extremists and behead people don't mean they don't talk about football clubs.
stupid criminal social media bloopers are not, just for America anymore.
Yeah. He said even though the militants, most in their teens and 20s, know they should be careful, they're so ingrained in online culture that they let their guard down. These are all young guys. It's a habit. It's very hard for them to be disciplined. I mean, really, it's incredible. And so this guy, whoever this, British citizen, it looks like, right, John? It says they say he's one of several. A former captain said he's one of several British militants nicknamed the Beatles. By hostages. I know, as someone that's interviewed Beatles, I know that's highly offensive to you, John.
It's great to know religious fundamentalists, murder terrorists are so clever.
Yes, right. Named after someone that wrote Imagine. So yeah, and they're saying it's interesting. He took great care to, disguise his identity, dressed head to toe in black. But it is incredible. With all our talk about the NSA, John, it's interesting. I mean, when you read about the capabilities they have in terms of image analysis, voice recognition software, and some of that is like from drones that can hear phone calls, and so I mean, it seems to me like there's a fairly good chance they're going to catch him, right?
Well, one would hope so. Sooner or later, we will find out the identity of that coward who did that, and he is a coward. He hid his name, he hid his identity, and then did something unspeakably evil, and which shows he doesn't really believe in the cause he's fighting for, or else he'd show his damn face and put something on the line. So I hope they get him. I'm of the belief that you don't kill people, and I'm against violence, but I will also say that I don't know anybody who's against violence who will shed a tear for these douchebags when they're vaporized.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm waiting for the next Gandhi to show up, and I'm hoping the next Gandhi is going to come out of Israel or Palestine or somewhere in the Middle East, and I'm really ready for the next Gandhi to show up and show us a different way.
By the way, as I said once again, John McCain taking a moment to use this to criticize the president.
He gave a very moving statement about Mr. Foley, where it all touched us. And then what? He said we have to contain ISIS. We're not to contain ISIS. We have to defeat ISIS.
Okay. If you ever noticed that I don't even hear in there any condemnation of the terrorists.
No.
Exactly.
Not at all.
No, it's just like Benghazi.
Right.
Don't blame the actual terrorists. Blame Obama.
Yeah.
And John McCain has never found a war he doesn't think is too good for your kids to die in.
Let's go to Walt in Memphis. You're on with John. Hey, Walt.
Hey, how you doing, Stephanie?
Good. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm an official black white woman lover of the Stephanie Miller Show.
Hello now. And I'm the official white black man lover of the Stephanie Miller Show.
There you go.
I'm the official striking out with hot black women Stephanie Miller Show.
Way to go, John. Hey, Stephanie.
Let's not talk about the Aisha Tyler incident, John. Let's just not. All right.
One.
Go ahead, Walt.
I am so peed off about Fox News, Stephanie. I happened to tune in on Sean Hannity's show last night.
Hey.
And he disputing every eyewitness was on the scene there last night. He's going by a three-party, what's it called, Joe's or something, or somebody told us that they thought they saw something. And he makes sure like all that stuff is facts and everything. He's trying to persuade the jury pool.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. John, don't you think we had Lisa Bloom on yesterday, who was terrific, but this is all, it just seems so prejudicial. What's when you have some purported to be the officer's friend that calls Dana Loesch's show, and then Drudge puts up, some ridiculous graphic of this, purported horrible injury to the officer that he was, and he put up what was it, Chris? A graphic of an injury that it wasn't his X-ray. It was an X-ray of that injury.
It was an example of an eye socket injury. Yeah.
If this guy really had his head bashed in, don't you think the Ferguson PD would have had those pictures out for all of us to see?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I saw the video of him walking around right after the incident.
This is like the whole Zimmerman story where his head was bashed in. Oh, but here's a picture of his head not bashed in. And you know what? It's just, again, I don't know the facts. All I know is that my right-wing friends are trying to tell me that this guy lunged for an officer, broke his eye socket, reached for his gun, and then the officer shot him from a great distance while he was charging the officer.
Yeah.
There were no powder burns on the body, on the 6 wounds, including 2 to the head, that were on this guy who was left to die in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
We know the people who are telling us he broke an eye socket were telling us 3 days ago he stole cigarillos, and that wasn't true. These people have not apologized for being wrong about the cigarillo stealing. They've just moved on to the fact that he did this.
Well, what is the latest, John? What do you mean? What do you hear? What's the latest you're hearing about that? About the cigars?
The latest is that he didn't steal the cigars. He did shove the clerk, but the clerk never called 911.
Yeah.
They don't know the nature of the altercation. But if you're one of these people looking
right, that's why they said they didn't call 911, because there's some dispute about whether he paid for some, but he didn't have enough for all that he wanted. So
you cannot tell from that video.
No, you can't. And no one's arguing that this guy was a nice guy. But the fact is, you've got a lot of our right-wing loved ones out there who are posting and arguing that because this guy was a thug, because this guy shoplifted, because this guy may have assaulted an officer, that he then deserves execution without a trial.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's, once again, it's like shades of Trayvon Martin, where, it's the thugging of the victim.
Yeah, if you think this guy deserved execution without a trial, then stop telling me about how much you care about the Constitution.
Yep. John, where can we see you when we want to?
I'll be on the Ed Schultz Show tonight, and then I will be on MSNBC. I will be performing with Laughing Liberally, a free show tonight in the East Village of New York City. And tomorrow night, I'm closing the Brooklyn Comedy Festival.
Wow!
Yo, 718 in the house. We love you, John.
Right. So come on down and see us. Great to talk to you, children, and I'll see you next week.
All right.
Thanks,
bye, John. Love you. All right. May Lee coming up on the Stephanie Miller Show. Close. Okay.
What kind of lies have you been spreading?
Oh, yes, it's Bailey's time, and we're feeling fine.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's Bailey's time.
Why? You mean just because I implied because you are hyper-competitive with both Jackie Schechner, who showed up in Saran Wrap yesterday, and Julie Chen, who did the Ice Bucket Challenge, I did promote that you would be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge naked on my show in the third hour, and you have the indecency to show up both in clothes and already having done the Ice Bucket Challenge yesterday.
Exactly, but if you had given me some forewarning.
I did. I've been teasing it all morning.
Oh, well, I didn't hear it.
I
did it yesterday. Sorry.
I
did the Ice Bucket Challenge yesterday, but I couldn't bear the thought of using an entire bucket of water in a drought-stricken state that we live in.
Water police would arrest you, yes.
Yes, I use a glass of ice water.
You did.
Hey, listen. It was still cold.
Splink.
I was shocked. I was shocked.
You only need
it was.
A thimble for me is like a bucket.
It is like a bucket for me.
So I'm drowning.
Same effect.
Help me.
Help me.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, that Walking on Sunshine. Somebody knows how much I hate that. They tweeted, "It's Friday, time for Maylee to bitch about Walking on Sunshine."
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Hello.
I love it.
Hello,
you all know me so well now.
Little bitchy sunshine. How
Hello.
are you?
Hello.
Okay. And also, as you know, Dennis writes, you know how divided we are in America? Turn on the TV. Look at Ferguson. Look at that.
Constantly. Yeah.
Dear Stephanie, for years, we are divided. I hope you're happy, he says. For years, the raging debate in our great nation has been Ginger or Marianne. Now, thanks to you, the debate has changed to Jackie or May. Another way that we stand divided.
But I don't want to be competitive with Jackie. That's not my thing.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
You love each other.
But I do want to be Marianne.
That's not the point. How can I use this obsession to up my ratings and to degrade both of you?
And I know you would, so, yeah.
Patrick writes, we should settle this dispute like we settle all important disputes in this country by voting. No. Mud wrestling. Jackie Hot Pants Schechner.
Oh, my gosh.
May 411 for information, Lee. To avoid charges of sexism, Chris can officiate in a Speedo. Or maybe Travis in his mantees. There's a fundraising idea if ever I heard one. Why, there you go.
Well, if things get really desperate. No, never. Sorry.
We need something to lighten the news. I said to Chris, when he puts sound bites together, when it's ISIS and Ebola.
Together,
Ferguson.
yeah.
Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Just go to the front page of any newspaper or website, and it's just bam, bam. I mean, I just feel like I'm getting slapped in the face when I wake up.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about your career in journalism, but I don't even know what to say anymore about this James Foley thing. Somebody was saying, somebody's like, don't watch. When they're saying don't watch it, I'm like, you don't need to tell me not to watch. I don't want to watch the video, but it's I mean, and I know it's Daniel Pearl, this has happened before, but May, this is really Jackie was saying that if she had it to do over again, she might be rethinking going into journalism at this point.
You know, that thought never crossed my mind, actually.
Yeah.
You know, what I so respect about these guys who do go into these conflict zones and, you know, where they know that anything could happen, is that they're still going to be able to tell the story.
Right.
And, you know, according to all the reports we've heard about James Foley, is that, you know, he was trying to tell the true story of the Syrian people and what they were going through.
Right.
And that meant more to him than his safety, obviously.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a dangerous world. We know that. But it's just become, I don't know. You know, again, it was an example to me of, wow, there's just no thought anymore of life and no sense of compassion or mercy anymore at all. In fact, exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
Where they want to use death, destruction, violence in the goriest way to make a point.
Yeah.
And then it just made me so sick to hear that they were asking for over $130 million.
Yeah.
It's like, you thugs, you want money.
Right.
That's at the end of the day, you just want some.
That's how they're bankrolling themselves now.
Yeah, I know.
Well, this is we were saying that James Foley's siblings were on TV saying that the U.S. should rethink its not paying ransom because, you know, the U.S. and Britain, as we were saying, are the two only countries that don't, whereas other European countries do. But then there's that tension because those European countries are the ones largely funding all this terrorism because
they're always paying the ransom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's, you know, and yet if it's your family, you understand what that felt like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
By the way, Chuck Hagel, talking about they did try to rescue him.
They marry ideology, a sophistication of...
No, it's number two. Number two. We already played number one.
This operation, by the way, was a flawless operation, but the hostages were not there.
Somebody actually speculated yesterday. I was looking, I think it was on my Twitter feed, about in this day and age, do journalists need to actually have something like a microchip, like a pet would have? I'm like, are we at that point? But they're saying where there's
Might
something.
Help.
Yeah.
If I were a journalist over there, I'd get chips.
You know what? That's not a bad idea, to be honest. Yeah.
And thank God you're so, and we love you so much, and you're so tiny. We could just pick you up like a little kitty by the scruff of your neck, before you even know it.
Soldiers too.
Right?
Anybody who is in that kind of danger zone where there's the likelihood of getting kidnapped,
right?
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, the microchip is not. You would need to be something that's GPS because microchip is not. That's different. That's not a tracking device. It's
But here's the thing. But the problem with that is that the terrorists would know that we're doing that, so then they would probably
maybe we're already doing it
yank
and they
it out.
No.
Well, maybe
we've already chipped you and you don't even know.
Maybe we've already said too much.
Uh-oh.
We just helped the terrorists.
Great.
Nice
I'm going to have to look over my shoulder when I leave here today. Great. Great.
Maybe when you were there last week, you did not even notice the neck dart. What was that? Okay.
Let's put some more thought into that concept.
Let's rethink this.
It's not refined yet.
Michael in California, you're on with May. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Steph, Chris, Maylee, and Travis.
Hello.
About the beheading of James Foley. I was wondering, even if we agreed to pay the $138 million ransom, how would it be delivered? It either has to be a physical delivery in which the kidnappers, had given themselves away, or it would have to be an electronic transfer, in which case it gives you the bank account number, right?
Well, that's what experts were saying. They don't think they were serious about it anyway. They knew that the demand was, so high. They were saying, I think, a lot of the European hostages, they've asked for $2 or $3 million or something like that, But yeah, no, that's a good point too. And I don't know what the answer is, but that's true. How would you even do that without?
Well, I'm sure there are probably ways of doing it electronically and not being traced.
That movie with Pierce Brosnan where he has a bunch of guys dressed alike and they all have umbrellas.
Oh, yes, the Thomas Crown affair.
Right, yes.
They could have done that.
Right, just saying.
Yeah.
Stop looking at us like that.
I thought you were talking about The Matrix where they had all those people that were dressed alike.
Oh, yes, that's
not
in that
right.
movie.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, she gets movie references wrong so often.
No, I don't. I mix. Sometimes I meld ones from different.
You thought
movies.
Lillian Gish was in 1984?
No, I did not.
I don't even know what that is, though.
1984? That was.
No. Oh, who's Lillian Gish? Sorry, that. Okay, you know what? Forget it.
All right. Forget it. Buddy,
she was a silent movie star.
Yes.
Oh.
That's a joke about me being old.
That's your era. Yes,
okay.
I got it.
Shut up. Let's reenact our phone call from yesterday and almost every phone call we've ever had.
Whore! Whore! What do you want, whore?
That's pretty much it. Okay, Buddy in Columbus, you're on with the whore.
Hey, the 3M Club, Mama Moose and May Lee.
Yes.
Oh,
thank you.
Hey, there's two things that stick in my craw on this. Number one, John McCain getting out there and bitching about Obama and ISIS. When Mr. McCain met those people in Syria, ISA was holding Mr. Foley hostage. And now he's got the unmitigated temerity to bitch about Obama because it's been abundantly clear that ISIS is funding itself.
Yeah. We played his audio from Fox News. I can guarantee you these are the moderates. These, guys that ended up in ISIS that he was shaking hands with over in Syria. So, yeah, I guess we should have listened to his razor-sharp judgment.
When did he say that? How long ago?
Oh, when he was saying that we should be arming the rebels.
Right, when he took his trip over to Syria.
He said these are the moderates that we should be arming. And this picture has been, I've been helpfully retweeting it all over the interweb. The same guys, Eric Holder talking about the ISIS. And
the Justice Department is actively pursuing justice in this case. We have an open criminal investigation.
By the way, did you hear how we could catch them? Soccer.
That's right.
Because these dumbasses have Facebook accounts and
they're
whatever.
Also, they're young and they're on social media, so they post about their favorite soccer teams.
No way.
Yes.
Way.
Really?
Yes.
Way. Okay, that's actually kind of funny.
Right? Finally, something good about soccer.
Oh, hey.
I know you're a soccer fan.
Whatever.
Eric Holder again.
Those who would perpetrate such acts need to understand something. We will not forget what happened, and people will be held accountable, one way or the other.
The Governor Rick indicted Perry of Texas. He gave a speech. He said there's a very real possibility that ISIS terrorists have crossed from the U.S. from Mexico. He said, certainly there's a great concern the border between the U.S. and Mexico is unsecure. We don't know who's using that, before adding, we have no clear evidence of that. Oops. Just thought I'd say it. Maybe it's ISIS terrorists with Ebola are coming across the Mexican border. But I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
But on a serious note, it is frightening to think that ISIS members could be anywhere, really, because if they do hold foreign passports, such as British passports, then they could easily cross in anywhere.
Yeah, one of the the organization of them, released a statement saying that Americans are idiots. They think that we're not there, or that we don't have, or we have to wait and get a the visa to get there. So no, that's exactly what they were implying.
Yeah.
I mean, Chuck Hagel, we just played that, said that this is beyond anything we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, when these are the guys that Al Qaeda's going, what a bunch of holes.
Exactly.
Those are bad guys.
Yeah. That's pretty scary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. David in Massachusetts, you're on with May. Hello, David.
Hello, Stephanie. I want to make a remark about how the American news media, the TV, the radio, especially to a degree, also the newspapers, they never get it right. They're giving too much publicity to this nonsense going on in Ferguson, Missouri, but they're not giving enough publicity to this monstrous, horrible event over in Africa, the Ebola virus. It's being reported, but not sufficiently. We're not hearing that this is an actual threat to the lives, the safety of hundreds of millions of people. And I think the news media should be condemned roundly for their poor quality reporting of news events. And we should be hearing from our European and American, Canadian leaders and people in South America that airplanes should not even be going in and out of those countries except under special circumstances.
All right. Well, we will get your thoughts. We were running a little late. We'll get your thoughts on that. You had some very strong opinions.
Yes, he did.
About journalism, and we have journalists.
Maybe.
So much horrible news to report. So hard to choose which horrible news to report first. 19 minutes after the hour, back with May Lee on the Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show with journalist May Lee, well-known whore. Marky tweets, come on, May, to hell with journalism. We need more skin. That's on show. I'm not sitting here in my underwear for nothing.
Man. Dude! Ew. That's not happening. Sorry.
Don't panic writes, girl fight. Okay. All right, so we were talking about Ebola, and you were saying you were over in Asia during the SARS.
SARS, bird flu, all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it absolutely caused a major panic, and because people didn't know. I mean, the whole thing is when you don't have the information, of course, people just start using their imagination, right? But they did. It was full lockdown.
Yeah.
They were closing stores, businesses, people who were out of the country, for instance, in Hong Kong or Singapore, they were told not to come back in. So they were basically sequestered outside of the country. They weren't allowed in, and then people weren't allowed to leave. I mean, it was full on lockdown.
Well, and you were saying, interestingly, the flu does kill more people every year, and we seem to live with that.
Because that caller was saying there hasn't been proper media coverage on Ebola versus some of these other stories. I don't quite agree with him. I understand the criticism against the media overall, because I do it all the time now, but there's been proper coverage of this story for sure. The thing is, the flu does kill a hell of a lot more people than Ebola has, and we treat the flu as, it's the flu.
Right. And I think because we're so used to everybody using everything as a political football, you've got idiots like Louis Gohmert going, probably kids coming across the border with Ebola, like stuff that's not based on any.
Because they just want to.
It's just a fear-monger about
fear,
brown people with scary diseases.
They wouldn't have the strength to cross the border, for God's sake.
Right. The logistics. I mean, that is hard to do that on orbits. Let me just tell you right now. Coming from
to go from Monrovia,
Liberia, you try multi-city
to Guadalajara, Mexico.
That never works. That never works online.
No.
Nightmare.
You're bound to have a 24-hour layover in Berlin or something.
Right, and then you click on it and you can get one leg, but not the other two.
God.
Idiot Louis Gohmert. All right, but we were saying the fear-mongering, and also you were saying that it is hard. It is hard to contract. You have to, and I always love the phrase "exchange bodily fluids." Like it seems so polite, doesn't it? It's just
After you. Oh no, you first. Thank you.
Could I have some of your sputum if I give you some of my mucus?
Yeah, it's not as contagious as, for instance, the flu.
Right.
Yeah. So it's.
But if you're handling bed sheets, that a patient has been, and you have a cut on your hand. Yes, you can get it.
Right, but
or if a patient sneezes on you,
wear rubber gloves. And
by the way, I heard
things like that.
Somebody yesterday list all of the bodily fluids that exist, and it is disgusting. It will make you throw up, which is a bodily fluid. That's another one. Vomit. Yeah. But I was like, they all sound disgusting. Vaginal.
Oh, okay,
dude.
All right,
come on.
That's enough. Stay classy. Who am I talking to?
Oh, you missed that because I hang with boys so much and do boy bike rides and stuff. I learned the new boy insult. Nathan did not come with Craig and I yesterday, and so Craig said to him, "Oh, does your vagina hurt?" And that's awesome.
What?
It's a dude insult. Or he goes, "Oh, maybe is your tampon itchy today?"
You boys are so foul.
Boys are dumb.
They are. Ugh.
There's that T-shirt. Boys are dumb. Throw rocks at them.
No, don't throw rocks at them. The 19th Amendment was ratified 94 years ago yesterday.
Oh.
Which one was that?
And guess what's next, boys? A lady president. Lady president.
We kept a list of dumb boys, and we're coming for you.
Time.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Believe me, there have been a lot of dumb girls. Case in point, Tara Reid. Come on.
All right.
I mean, even Sri Lanka has had a female president.
Yeah. I know.
Chandrika Kumaratunga.
Faced by Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
On women's rights.
Didn't Chile have one, too?
Yes, Chile did, too. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of dumb boys, Louis Gohmert again.
Oh, God.
I'm not saying he should be executed for treason. I'm just saying. He warned that President Obama would not be able to adequately protect the nation from the threat posed by ISIS because the administration policy is being guided and influenced by Muslim brothers. He said, if you're a commander-in-chief, you can't be listening to Muslim brother advise you on when it's time to stop destroying Muslim brothers. It's
what?
It's in reference to his and crazy Michelle Bachmann's theory that the Muslim Brotherhood has infiltrated the United States government.
Okay.
All right.
They keep electing him.
Yep. All right. 29 minutes after the hour. Right back. The Stephanie Miller Show. The Stephanie Miller Show. Welcome to it. Maylee, journalist extraordinaire. Whore.
You're the bigger whore, though. You know that.
Whore. 1-800-whore. 1-800-STEPH12. The phone number. The whore-off has commenced.
Yes.
Terry, with some thoughts on male vagina. Steph, the proper term for a male that has his panties in a bunch or is whining about everything is mangina. Did you get sand in your mangina? Okay, thank you, Terry. All right.
Okay, I just learned something new today.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, President Give Me Turkey tweets, let's see, and where do you even get the receipt for bodily fluids to exchange them?
That's a good one.
Funny. Political Wizard said, did Rick Perry say ISIS fighters are coming across the border with Ebola and cantaloupe-sized calves from carrying weed? Yes, that's what he said. It's basically. Thanks for paying attention. All right. Oh, boy. All right. 1-800-STEPH12, the phone number. Toll free from anywhere. Let's go to Ken in New York. You're on with May. Hi, Ken.
Hello. I didn't realize I was going to be on with May.
Uh-oh.
And so I have to apologize to you. I'm a different generation than you are. I'm 70 years old, and I'm a white male, and, I can't understand the progressive movement in the country.
Okay.
I would like to mention about Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Ferguson, I was furious when that policeman shot that young man. I don't care about his past history, but I'm even more furious that the progressive people have put that policeman on trial, condemned him. Doesn't even care what the.
I haven't put him on trial or condemned him. I have said over and over, I don't know what happened. I think the police have badly bungled this, starting with that they didn't interview any of the witnesses that were there.
The problem that I have, though, is instead of just letting the law take its place,
but they're not.
Talked about it for 2 or 3 weeks.
Ken,
and I've listened. I'm being honest. I've listened. My opinion was I thought the policeman was guilty. I thought he should be. That was my personal opinion.
Okay.
But listening to how they condemned everything about him without, and I don't care.
I haven't. I can't speak for everybody. I don't think. I think what they're condemning is the police, the handling of this.
The shoddy police work.
And listen, okay, you can say it's shoddy. I don't know. But what I am saying is, if you had let it go on, and it's going now to the grand jury, God, thank you, I don't know. And my thing is even if the guy's acquitted, and I disagree with it, and I still might disagree that he's acquitted, at least then I'll speak up and I'm going to say, something's wrong with the law here.
You know what, Ken? I'm going to disagree with you. I think the right wing has convicted Michael Brown without obviously a trial. I don't think, from what I've watched, I don't think people have convicted the policeman without a trial. They are convicting the police work and the way the police has handled this, and I think that's why there's so much unrest.
I don't think I'm right wing. I told your person that answered.
Manti wearer.
I had thought I was progressive all my life until I kind of looked at what the definition of progressive is, and that isn't
right. Well, I don't think progressives are convicting the police officer. I think it's as I said, police work.
Yeah, he was getting very worked up about a point that I definitely disagreed with, was that he was saying let the law take over and take care of it. Well, that's been the problem, right? The law has really messed this whole case up.
Right.
But I think he's a perfect example of what's going on. People are letting their emotions run way too high, and it's really clouding what the purpose of this is to really get to the truth. I tweeted, a couple of days ago, I'm like, somebody stop lying about what happened.
Right.
Just stop freaking lying.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds very simplistic, but at the same time, please, let's just get to the bottom of this so we can move on with reconciliation.
Yeah.
Rather than just lie on top of lie and then just, creating this.
And then
heat.
everybody assumes everyone on the opposite side is automatically lying.
Right. And you get nowhere.
Right.
You get nowhere.
Right. Now, time for a love story. Just to break all the horrible news in the world.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Breaking news.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Lillian Gish tweeted you.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And
I'm going hiking with her mother later.
And she says that she can confirm that you babysat her when she was a child. Seriously.
Okay, this started...
Lillian Gish at Ms. Lillian Gish.
This started because Vince Vaughn's mom is my new best friend. And so
Yes,
I said,
remember you told me that.
Yes.
Yes. I know, you're hanging out with all these
celebrities' moms.
Women.
Right,
Yes,
and so
yes.
I said, that I was hiking with Jessica Tandy's mom later. And that's how this whole thing... And Angela Lansbury's grandmother is a delight and plays a mean round of canasta.
Oh, my God.
All right, now a love story that ends as all mine do, which is why it makes me happy. Giraffe at a zoo licks and then kicks a woman in the face.
Oh, why? What happened?
In my beloved Madison, Wisconsin. Police say a California woman was cited after climbing into the giraffe exhibit, as you do.
Okay, there you go.
Was alcohol involved?
Didn't say.
Oh.
No, she says she just did it because she loves giraffes. Maybe not anymore. Okay. 24-year-old Amanda Hall of San Luis Obispo climbed over one fence and almost got over the second fence of the giraffe enclosure. A 2-year-old, a 12-foot-tall giraffe named Wally gave Hall a lick and then turned and kicked her in the face.
Oh, man.
That is away every single one of my romances. Just like that.
Is she okay?
Yes, she's fine. Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although I think she deserved it. You don't climb over the dang fence.
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't tug Superman's cape. You don't climb into the giraffe
spit
enclosure.
into the wind.
You don't lick a giraffe's face.
No, the giraffe licked
the giraffe
her.
licked her. And thus lured her further into the romance, only to kick her in the face. Not that I have any personal bitterness against... Okay.
Oh, it's okay, Steph.
Did that happen when you lit your hair on fire?
What?
You lit your hair on fire
That's
on a date.
Another entirely different story for
I don't
another
know this
day.
story. Wow. Oh, Steph. Really?
I hate you and your ass face. She's an old enough
Were you
friend.
that
She
upset?
remembers the other half of every story that I don't remember. I didn't tell you this one?
I don't think so. I think I would remember this.
Could I have some love music, please?
Sure.
This ended much like the giraffe story, but we were taking a romantic bath. There were lots of candles.
Mm-hmm.
In the bathtub.
Sounds lovely. Uh-huh. But this involves Stephanie, so it's got to
This
go
was
wrong.
before Japanese hair straightening, and I went to the salon for a blowout so I could look glamorous. Right. So you didn't just get your hair wet, so I wore a purple shower cap.
Wait, you were wearing a purple shower cap in the romantic bath?
Yes.
Okay, that's not romantic.
No,
I'm sorry.
not at all.
Okay,
Well, wait till you hear what happened
too.
next. So then I thought I would take it off, and my hair would gently, my blowout would gently cascade around my naked shoulders.
Right.
We didn't get that far because, as I was leaning back seductively, the shower cap caught on fire.
Because of the candles.
Oh, did it like melt onto your hair?
She did put the fire out, so that was romantic. The look on her face, not really romance. Like, oh my
More like
God.
terror.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, Steph.
Right? Smacking me in the head out of love.
That's
as a fire control.
Did you have a second date?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you ever bathe together again with candles?
We ended up in a long relationship, I'll have you know.
Oh. So the only fatality was the shower cap.
Yes.
So
And
no
a
other
little
injury.
singed hair.
A little singed hair. Okay.
So,
Right.
Yeah, the smell of burning hair is not the most romantic smell in the
Or
world.
burning rubber.
Yeah.
Blech.
All right, then.
Okay.
Thanks for making
That's a good one.
story.
Never heard that one before. I love it.
Paul Ryan thinks John Boner smells too much like cigarettes.
He doesn't smell like burning hair.
I just think he looks like he smells awful.
Yeah.
This is like bourbon and old cigarette.
Yep. Old stale room.
Yeah. Yes, it smells like a poker room somewhere.
Definitely.
Ryan asked if he ever asks Boner to refrain from smoking. No, Ryan said, but I try to sit as far away from him as I can in meetings that I know are going to be stressful. I just hate getting that smell on my clothes.
Oh.
You know John Boehner, I mean, he's from Ohio, right?
Yes.
So he was an up-and-coming politician at the time I was living there and working as a journalist.
He's also a person of color from Ohio.
Orange!
Orange color. Orange is the new Asian. What? Oh, boy. All right.
Huh?
Listen, my
That
point
made
is...
no sense.
He's orange.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Listen to me. I'm trying to get to the end of the story. You're like tacklers weighing me down instead of helping.
All right, go.
Brian on Twitter wants to know if Susan B. Anthony was a good kisser.
You are collectively bastard people, all of you. Everybody listening, watching, or being in the room.
All right.
I love this, though. This is so
Okay.
typical politician. HuffPost reached out to Boner's office for a comment on the fact that Ryan thinks he's stinky.
Yeah.
No way. This is literally what he said. Boner's spokesman said, the cost of everything from gas to groceries to dry cleaning has skyrocketed in the Obama economy. That's why House Republicans are focused on jobs and pro-growth economic reforms.
That was the answer to why he smells?
This is a typical politician. No, we want to know why you're such a stinky orange man.
Oh, that's funny. Oh. God.
To know why you stink. That was the question. Answer the question.
Oh, God.
All right. 45 minutes after the hour. Just recover. Everybody gentle down.
Oh, we're fine. Chris and I are fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah.
You're the ones who seems exercised.
Yeah.
Back with the remaining moments. I'm going to tell Max to fart again.
Oh, yeah, please don't. Farting.
Oh. Right back. With more lately on the Stephanie Miller Show. Oh, did you hear me yell that to Travis?
No. Thank God.
That was... Oh, my gosh. I don't even know what to say right now.
I was just tweeted by an ex-boyfriend, Dave, who tweets, I remember one of our dates when we set fire to your mother's rug.
What is your problem? Stephanie?
You've got a problem. Carpeting in the house. Just so
okay. Please. Did you have to go there?
Well, what's my college boyfriend? Dave.
That's unbelievable. Dave.
Is he one of the ones you turned
gay? Was he cute?
No.
How long did you...
That was the high school boyfriend.
How long did you date?
A couple of years.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
He was very handsome, very romantic, Dave, if you are still listening.
How did you guys set the rug on fire,
He was 6'5", and I remember all my dad ever said is, God, he's big. The guy's big. Okay. Handsome, romantic. Okay, hi, Dave. Anyway,
you have a problem with fire, though,
yeah,
obviously, on
fire
dates.
And dates.
Yeah, not a good combo.
I did that on vacation with another ex-girlfriend. I just realized there was a fireplace and we weren't paying attention because stuff was going on and it fell out of the fire onto the rug in the front of the.
This is an issue. This is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My sex life hot. Okay.
And then she has like fireplaces all over her house.
Yeah.
Outside, inside.
I like fire.
Yeah. There's something very strange about it.
I'm a sexual pyromaniac.
Until you light the house on fire.
Yeah. Okay.
People are like, Steph, that's hot. No, seriously. It's hot.
Really hot.
What is happening? Oh, I see why you played that. We were talking about celebrity breakups.
Yep.
Lots of them
We're
happening.
just going a little lighter, and then
it's Friday. Come on.
Yeah.
It's Friday.
Yes, rest in peace, Meg Ryan and John Mellencamp's relationship.
Okay, first of all, I didn't even know they were together.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
After 3 years.
We've done stories on it. You knew this.
Was I here? It's before after I kissed Susan B. Anthony.
I had no idea they were together.
I think they were together when we talked to John Mellencamp.
Oops.
Oh, I talked to John Mellencamp? Oh, yes, I did. They're saying it was distance. She lives in New York. He lives in Indiana. He said, I'm not leaving Indiana. I'm going to die here. He's a small town boy. He's a small town boy.
They were married?
No.
They
were just together for 3 years.
He's just a small town boy.
I see. Okay.
If I could remember the next line, I would say it, but I don't remember. Small town boy. You know the song.
Yeah.
I think you're thinking of Journey. Don't Stop Believing.
I'm not. I'm just a small town boy.
That's Journey.
That's Journey. Oh,
no. I know what I'm thinking of. I know.
No.
Oh, hey, hang on, everybody. No, I was born in a small town.
Yeah.
But there's no small town boy.
You guys made me nervous. That small town song is his. I was raised in a small town.
Yeah. He's not small town boy.
Yeah, that's in small town. Okay, Mariah Carey and Nick Cannon reportedly living apart and getting divorced.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Is that the other one you were thinking of?
That just came out like yesterday or something like that.
You know what caused the breakup, Chris?
What?
The source of all evil everywhere.
Facebook?
Radio shows.
Oh.
No, radio shows.
Why?
I wonder if we've caused any breakups.
I'm sure we have.
Probably by today's show.
Why are they saying radio shows? What?
Nick's appearance on Big Boy's radio show in the March, beginning of the end, they're saying. He played Big Boy's game, Name the 5 Celebrities You've Slept With.
Yeah.
Nick named 5. The sources that made Mariah insane was Kim Kardashian. Mariah felt humiliated, and the relationship never recovered.
Oh, yeah, anybody who's slept with Kim Kardashian.
Yeah. Oh. See, you probably just broke up Kim and Kanye just because of that.
Oh, boo-hoo. I feel so bad.
All right. Everybody, it is Al Roker Appreciation Day.
Oh.
He did a duty in his pants in the White House.
In the White House.
So did you when you saw the Oval Office. Remember how excited you were?
I did duty. Al Roker actually crapped his pants.
Yeah, he did.
Why did he crap his pants?
He had just had his gastric bypass surgery.
Oh, right.
No.
And he thought that was oversharing, in my opinion.
And he thought he was just going to fart. And
oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Anyway, show your appreciation however you feel it's appropriate in New York today. It's Al Roker.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, that's poor Al.
Here's very sad news. No one wants to smell like Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift. Very sad. Their fragrance is not doing well.
Oh, that's a shocker. God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I saved the Oprah story for you since we met working for Oprah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, what's the Oprah story?
Right behind me on the wall.
Yeah.
That's me and May and Oprah.
Yeah, I don't think they can focus on that.
Just trust us on that. Yes. Okay. She is a truffle freak. And She said, I'm a truffle freak. I walk around with truffle salt. It's on my rider for the hotels, truffle salt and truffle oil.
Yes.
Oh.
Yummy. Love it.
Me too. Had we known, we could have kept our jobs.
Exactly. I would have sent her truffle oil every week.
Here. God. Did May send you truffle salt last week? Here's a truffle chaise lounge.
Well, she can afford it.
Wow, Chris Christie is a very, very sensitive.
He's a little touchy.
For a big fella.
Yeah.
About the boss. Did you see this town hall? He's just such a bully. So a participant said she heard that Springsteen asked Christie to stop playing his music because, he disagrees with the governor's politics. The governor did not, let's just say, take her assertion well. But he went on and on. He goes, nah, never did that. Nah, you're wrong about that. Bruce has never asked me to do that. I saw Bruce a week and a half ago. Whatever, name dropper.
Well, that doesn't mean...
And he had every opportunity to tell me not to. He didn't. He never told me not to. Nah, listen, I know him. You're wrong. I understand you're expressing your your politics. You're expressing your politics. That's fine. Don't put it in Mr. Springsteen's mouth. Put it in yours. Don't put it in Bruce's mouth. I know Bruce. I've spoken to Bruce. You're wrong. Oh, my God, he went on and on. Yeah. Anyway, but as we recall, he did that... duet with Jimmy Fallon making fun of Bridgegate.
Yes.
And he also penned a letter to the editor in 2011 decrying Christie's cuts to social services. So I think we all know that they don't share politics.
Yeah.
But anyway. Jeez. Whatever.
Sensitive.
Rand Paul, oh dear, skipped an evangelical event in Iowa and was caught partying in the Hamptons with Alec Baldwin.
Really?
Can't you get executed for that in the Republican Party today?
I think you can.
Partying in the Hamptons with Alec Baldwin? At the same time, there was a Christian event in Iowa. He said he would not be able to go because of a family commitment, which meant partying in the Hamptons with Alec Baldwin.
Liar!
Lying sack of crap. You're a lying sack of crap. You're a lying, scheming, stinking, nasty sack of crap.
Oh, you're a liar. You're just a liar. You always were.
Paul's office said he did have a family commitment. The Baldwin event was simply an additional event he attended while in the area.
I see.
Oh, how convenient.
At the family event he apparently was having in the Hamptons, though he's from Kentucky.
Right.
Liar. Oh, guess what else we missed?
And you ain't the granddaddy of all liars.
John McCain did the robot for Jamie Foxx at a Hamptons party. That is something
what is going on in the Hamptons?
I hope never to have to see. Yes. Jamie Foxx said it's the ones you don't expect. It's the Republicans. Republicans love to dance in the Hamptons. And then make fun of Democrats for doing it. I leave you with the visual of John McCain doing the robot and a fully clothed Mei Lee who did not show up naked.
And will always remain fully clothed.
Even in the shower, even if you're having sex with her.
Even if you're taking a bath with her surrounded by candles.
Otherwise, her mother would say it. All right. See you Monday.